right, welcome in. This is the Impulse Editor, the heart of Instinctor, and the place where all the fun happens. Let's get our bearings. Over on the left, you've got your blocks. The whole system is refreshingly blunt about how it works. You grab a block, you drop it on the canvas, and then you tidy it up in the panel on the right. That right panel is your settings desk. It always shows the settings for whatever you've got selected. Select nothing, and it gives you the settings for the whole page. Now, there are two modes living in here, Cinematic and Classic. I'll show you both, because you'll want both in your life. We open in Cinematic mode by default, and that's where I want to start, because this is the part that tends to make people sit up a little straighter. Right under the mode selector, you'll see an environment button. Give it a click, and here we are. The environment panel, 33 main effects, waiting for you. And I'll be honest with you, these are stunning. Pick whichever one you like. Let's take Cosmos. At first glance, black and white, a touch sleepy, nothing to write home about. But you see these 4 preset buttons down here? Watch what happens. There. That, my friends, is a real Cosmos. Now let's have a little fun with the color. You can tune this to your own taste and land somewhere genuinely beautiful. And there it is. The flight through deep space begins. Right. Let me show you how to actually build a cinematic page. Over on the right, you'll find the screen section. We start on screen 1 by default. Let's put something on it. Kinetic. That's the one. This block makes gorgeous animated titles. Think After Effects, only faster, lighter, and happening right there on your page. Okay, let's give it some text. How about Instinctor? Now this loop switch decides whether your animation runs on repeat or simply plays once when the page loads. Compositions are just presets, ready-made looks. Nudge the gradient settings a bit and see what falls out. This lead content button is quietly important, so let me linger on it for a second. When it's on, which is the default, your Kinetic title makes its entrance first, and then the rest of the screen's content follows. A great deal of the time, that's exactly the drama you're after. But every so often, it feels a little out of place, and now you know precisely where to switch it off. Now, Kinetic text has 2 modes of its own. Composition, which is where we're standing, hands you multi-line presets, and they're wonderful for the days you'd rather not fiddle. But between you and me, I lean toward per-line mode. It gives you a good deal more control. Let's switch over. And this drop down here is your motion selector. Pick anything you like and watch how it moves. Over on the right, just beside your effect drop down, you'll spot a little word button. Click it, and it flips to line. And that one's fairly self-explanatory. Your chosen effect either treats each word on its own or takes the whole line as one. Simple as it sounds, it opens up far more flexibility than you'd first guess. Every line gets its very own preset dropdown, which means you can build genuinely impressive animated compositions, one line at a time. And then there's cycle lines. It's an animation that reveals one line at a time. The first line plays, then the second, then the third, each waiting politely for its turn. And you'll be surprised how often that's exactly the effect you were reaching for. Alright, we're happy with our title, but pages on the internet, as you may have noticed, tend to have a little more to them than a single title. And here's something worth pointing out. There's nothing to scroll. A cinema screen is always exactly 100% of the display height. One screen, no more, no less. So what happens on that one screen is what matters. Let's add a second one. Drop a block onto it, a text block say. Type in a bit of lorem ipsum, our old and faithful friend. And maybe give it a text animation. Add a divider, pick a style, nudge the width, and there, our screen is ready. So what happens when we actually scroll between these screens? They come flying towards you, right out of the depth of the monitor. And I don't mind telling you, it is absolutely fantastic. Let's switch on loop scroll for the page, so the screens circle around forever. And that wraps up our quick tour of cinematic mode.